In September of 2015, 8 strangers stepped onto a small sightseeing ferry in British Columbia. They waved to the dock, laughed in the morning sun, and drifted into the blue horizon for what was supposed to be a 2-hour trip. They never came back. Months later, the boat was found. Engines still running, coffee still warm, and not a single soul on board. No bodies, no distress calls, not even a sign of struggle. This is the story of the ferry that never docked. Prince Rupert, a fishing town carved out of the Canadian coastline, where pine-covered cliffs lean into cold Pacific waters. Locals here live by the tides and the weather, and they notice every boat that leaves the harbor. On the morning of September 12th, the Mariner's Pearl was scheduled for a 2-hour coastal cruise. Nothing unusual. The captain, Edward Lamont, had run this route hundreds of times. The water was calm, the weather forecast clear. The passengers were an eclectic mix. Claire and Matthew Rivers, a young couple from Seattle. She was a travel blogger, always looking for the perfect shot. He was a software engineer who preferred to watch her take them. Margaret Holloway, a retired schoolteacher from Alberta. She carried a worn leather-bound journal titled Margaret's Maps. She wrote in it every day. Isabel and Charlotte Fraser, sisters from Toronto, lively, adventurous, documenting their trip on Instagram. Jonas Muller, a German backpacker who spoke little, but smiled often. David Mercer and his 15-year-old son, Ethan, from Montana. This was supposed to be a healing trip after David's divorce. 8 passengers, 1 captain, 1 boat. 10 a.m. The Mariner's Pearl leaves the dock. A few locals watch as the boat slips past the breakwater. The passengers are laughing, taking photos. Someone waves back at the dock crew. The boat rounds a rocky headland and disappears from sight. From here, the only glimpses come from memory. A pleasure yacht, Wind Dancer, spots the ferry later that morning, moving slowly toward a strange wall of fog hanging low over the water. Inside the ferry's cabin, Captain Lamont is making notes in his log. At 12:14 p.m., he writes his last entry. Heavy fog ahead, seeing shapes in the water, not whales, and then nothing. When the Mariner's Pearl fails to return by mid-afternoon, the Coast Guard is called. This isn't unusual at first. Boats can be late. But when radio calls go unanswered, urgency sets in. By sunset, search and rescue helicopters are in the air. Boats sweep the coastline with spotlights. Divers check inlets and coves. They find nothing. No debris, no oil slick, no floating life jackets. Not a single clue. By day 3, search teams are combing nearby beaches for signs of the passengers. Search dogs are brought in, but they don't pick up any scent trail. It's as though the Mariner's Pearl, and everyone on board, has simply dissolved into the mist. Here's the thing. The strait they were traveling through has a strange history. Fishermen talk about sudden walls of fog that swallows sound, making the world go quiet. A retired trawler captain named Harold Boone once told investigators about a fishing net being pulled from his boat in those waters, by something that never surfaced. He said the water there felt different. He never went back. Locals call it the Gray Strait. They say, the water doesn't just hide things, keeps them. 5 months later, late winter, a fishing trawler called Aurora's Edge spots something on the horizon. Small, white, drifting. As they draw closer, they realize it's the Mariner's Pearl. The ferry looks almost normal. No broken glass, no smashed railing, no dents in the hull. When the Coast Guard boards her, they document the scene. Engines idling as though left only minutes ago. Coffee pot half full, still faintly warm. 8 cell phones, all in a neat pile in the passenger cabin. Each is still charged. None with any activity after 11:52 a.m. on the day of departure. Life jackets untouched. No personal bags except the captain's duffel. The GPS log has been completely erased. The captain's logbook is intact, except for that final, haunting line. Heavy fog ahead, seeing shapes in the water, not whales. Forensic teams scour the boat. There's no sign of forced entry, no blood, no water damage, no fingerprints except the passengers and crews. They check for mechanical faults, none. The boat is in perfect working order. So what could make 9 people simply vanish without using the life jackets, without taking their phones, and without sending a single distress call? Investigators consider a rogue wave? No, the sea was calm. A sudden illness? All 9 at once? Piracy? The boat had no valuables worth the risk. And then, the theories turn stranger. Some whisper about human trafficking, others about a secret government operation. But the locals, they talk about the Gray Strait. They talk about things moving in the fog, shapes that aren't whales, shadows that glide beneath the surface. One fisherman swears he saw a second vessel that morning, a black shape moving parallel to the ferry just before it vanished into the fog. When asked why he didn't report it at the time, he just says, "Would you?" Months later, during an inventory of the evidence, something strange happens. David Mercer's cell phone, which had been powered off in an evidence locker, turns itself on. Investigators find a single new photo. The timestamp reads 12:16 p.m., 2 minutes after the captain's final log entry. The image is blurred, washed in fog. But in the distance, 3 tall, dark shapes rise from the water. They aren't ships. They aren't whales. And whatever they are, they're watching the ferry. The Mariner's Pearl now sits in dry dock, covered in tarps, guarded by the Coast Guard. Officially, the investigation is still open. Unofficially, it's a ghost story, a campfire tale told in Prince Rupert's bars. Some say the passengers will return one day, stepping off the boat as if no time has passed. Others believe they never left the water at all. And when the fog rolls in across the Gray Strait, even now, fishermen swear they see shapes moving just beneath the surface. Every year, thousands of boats sail these waters, and nearly all of them come back. But the Mariner's Pearl is different. She came back alone. No one knows what happened out there, whether it was something in the fog, something beneath the water, or something that had been waiting for them all along. But one thing is certain, the sea doesn't give up her secrets. And sometimes the most dangerous thing you can do, come back. And if you love mysteries like this, make sure to subscribe, because next week, we're covering a case even stranger than this one.